Baseball with the Bard.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Baseball with the Bard. My name is Tyler Bard, and that over there is Noah Cross. And remember that Baseball with the Bard is by Clovercrest Media. So, like I said, welcome back. The postseason. Woo! We went from mild to spicy real fast, Mr. Cross. And, I'm going to use the old saying, I hate to say I told you so. But do I? Do I really hate to tell you I told you so, Noah?
No,
Games
you don't.
in 7 games. Both of them happened. Now I just need one more thing to have a perfect prediction record for the ALCS and NLCS, and I will be very happy. I don't think any of us saw what happened exactly happening the way it did with the ALCS, but, that's why I went vague. I couldn't predict every single bit of it. So yes, everyone, episode 14 of Baseball with the Bard. We are happy to be here with you once again. We're going to switch it up momentarily. We just want to talk quickly about COVID. There isn't any in the MLB. Moving on. The Red Sox, we've been neglecting to talk about you guys for a little while now, so we thought we'd give you just a little bit of extra attention this go around. So one of the big questions that Red Sox fans and other baseball fans alike all have going on right now is Alex Cora going to be coming back to the Red Sox? Noah, I respect your opinion as a baseball fan. You're very smart in the field of baseball. I'm curious to see what you think first.
No, absolutely not. I'm sorry.
One of few.
I'm gonna have to say absolutely not. I mean, you can't go from one team like the Astros, who had this whole scandal, and his name was tossed around. It's not like they were like, oh, he knew about it and didn't care. His name was tossed around as a person who had a lot to do with it. And then a year later, he goes over to the Red Sox, who are again slapped for doing something similar to sign stealing, using technology they're not supposed to, and whose name is there again? Alex Cora. To me,
Right.
It's a no-brainer for Shane Bloom and the Red Sox to be like, bad look, no.
Yeah, it is definitely a bad look. I agree with you. And we did talk about it, I believe 2, maybe 3 episodes ago. Whenever the last time was, we talked about the Red Sox. So I think it was about 2 episodes ago. We did talk about management, and I don't think it's a smart move. And I get it why people like Alex Cora. He won us a World Series championship. But so did John Farrell, and he's tainted. So what's the difference? Why are we bringing back guys who have a little bit of a taint to their a little bit of a taint? I'm never going to say that again.
Nope,
tainted legacy to their name, like in the likes of Farrell and Cora. Why not bring on a new guy who has that same vibe that those two give off? Give me like a Jason Varitek. That would be something exciting for this team. They already are very good. Maybe, sure, did he have any coaching experience? A little bit down in the minors? That's it. But I think he'd be a good revitalization for this team. I'm very excited to see what they do going forward. I just hope it's not with Cora. But the big question is this free agency and trade talk going on right now. Are the Red Sox going to get any of these big market names in Bauer, Mookie Betts, or George Springer? Those are some big market names right now. And here I have the 3 up there for you. Noah, I'm going to go on the screen wise, left to right. You tell me if these guys have a chance of coming to Boston.
Sure.
All right. Springer?
No.
Really?
Nope.
Not even slightly?
Nope.
Mookie Betts?
Nope.
Trevor Bauer?
That's the only maybe. And that's only because, one, Bauer is not going to sign a deal that's going to have him stay anywhere for a while. So the Red Sox might be able to swing something, right? A year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. I don't know how much Bauer is going to want to sign for, right? Which means that the price is going to be low. And then 2, the Red Sox, as we saw this year, are hurting in the starting pitching rotation. Now, is Bauer going to want to go to a team? Now, I mean, and take this as you wish. Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan. He's going to want to go to a team that doesn't really have a shot or no one thinks is going to do anything. I don't know. Like, this Bauer is like, listen, I'm bored. Let's go win something.
I don't know,
you know,
Noah. I think
don't know if
Trevor
I can get that in
Bauer
Boston.
thinks he could be a reason that a team is a winning team. So I think he thinks he could be that major chess piece on a board that could ultimately get the win. Of all of them, of course, I'd obviously love to see any of them in Red Sox uniform,
Especially
Mookie
Mookie.
Betts. Because we're probably going to be losing guys in the likes of Jackie Bradley and Andrew Benintendi. But I would love to see Trevor Bauer in a Red Sox uniform. You and I have said many, many times how much we really enjoy Trevor Bauer. And I don't, will they sign him? Probably not, Noah, honestly. But they're probably going to go after the less expensive options in the trade market and the other signs of the market as well. So it's going to be pretty fun to see what they do. I don't expect too much, but I don't usually expect too much in the offseason anyways, just so I can be super excited when something big does happen. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of questions in the offseason right now. The Red Sox are in a deep hole after 2 years ago winning a World Series. So can they do it again? Noah, this is that magic number that 3 years after they win a World Series, they start their rise back up to the top. Let's see if they can do it. I'm not giving up hope on the Sox. I never will. I never have. I just hope that sooner rather than later, the Red Sox will look like their true form once again. But that's it. That's all we're giving the Red Sox for now. We got to focus in on the people who are actually doing something remotely important right now, like these guys, the Yankees. Noah, there's some free agent issues coming up right now. TJ LeMahieu, Tanaka, Brett Gardner, James Paxton, and Stanton and Britton both have opt-outs. That's a lot of work that you guys are going to have to put in for some of these guys that I'm just going to lay on the screen here. Just give me an overview of all of those guys and if you think they're staying or not. I don't know.
Stanton will not opt out. There is not a chance he is going to do that. Yes, he had a tear in the postseason. He's not going anywhere. He's got a big contract. He's going to get every cent of it.
And likewise with Britton.
Britton as well. I don't see going anywhere. I don't think the opt-outs will honestly matter.
All right.
DJ LeMahieu. That is the Yankees. What I would personally say is a number one priority, in which their next point here, DJ LeMahieu, they have to sign him. He has been the only consistency in the lineup, and that's in the regular season and in the postseason. He's the only person that continuously puts the ball in play. He gets big hits. He hits bigger home runs. He is a clutch player. He's honestly the most dynamic player we have, and is the only player that we have that is able to play small ball when we need it to happen. That is the Yankees' top priority. They have to re-sign DJ LeMahieu. I'm thinking 3 or 4 years, around $100 million would probably be a good range for DJ LeMahieu.
I think you guys would be foolish. Oh, there's my mom. Hello. Mom says, "Hey guys, hello, Miss Debbie."
Hello.
So yeah, I think that is your number one priority right now, is definitely getting him right now. But you do have some other guys as well. This is the one that I'm most curious about right now. Brett Gardner.
Oh, it's so sad.
I know. It's a brutal decision. And you've been brutally honest about him. You've said you don't think so. And if they do, it's going to be year to year. But I need a yes or no. Is Brett Gardner landing in the Yankee pinstripes next season?
Oh, it's a tough one. I don't want to give you the same answer I always give you, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say no. We've seen the Yankees We've seen the Yankees allow personalities that not only the fans love but are good in the clubhouse go. He is the longest tenured Yankee to date. He's the only Yankee left of the 2009 World Series team in the likes of Brett Gardner. So I honestly think this was the last year we were going to be seeing Gardy parties in the Bronx, in pinstripes, I should say, unfortunately, because they just don't need him. I'm sorry. They don't. They have options.
But he's just one of those guys you don't want to see go. And here's someone else I want to bring up quick, is Masahiro.
I think without a doubt that he's not going anywhere. I mean,
that would be insane.
Yeah, that would be absolutely nuts. And sure, he had a lot of woes in the postseason. However, he's usually a consistent pitcher. He's usually a guy that helps us get big games. You can't let him go.
So does Clayton Kershaw, but you don't see the Dodgers going, get rid of him.
Yeah.
we don't want him anymore. It's not the case.
We'll get to
If you are, yeah, he's coming up. Keep tuned. He will be coming up later in this podcast. But yeah, no, that's just ridiculous. I don't see much changing on the Yankees. Except maybe some of these people you have listed down below here that
we
we're going to
forgot
talk about quickly.
Did we get Paxton?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I didn't pull up a picture of Paxton, but yes.
I don't know.
I know. He is a question mark.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem is it's not that. Sure, he had a few inconsistencies. Sure, he had a few moments where it was doubtful we made a good decision on bringing him on the squad, and then he went on a 10-game tear last season. This season, he had a lot of injuries. He's been injury prone, but so is every other Yankee. I have a feeling James Paxton can be a fantastic pitcher. Whether the Yankees keep him or not, I'll say yes, but they're going to definitely use those injuries against him in a sense and say, hey, listen, we're not going to give you a huge deal here. So take this 1 or 2 years, couple mil, and call it a day.
Yeah, but what about some of these guys coming up for the trade talk? We have guys that we've crapped on all year, like Sanchez and Andujar, and guys who have been relatively consistent or good, had their little stints, like Torres, who had his moments where he wasn't as hot as he was last season, or who I think is your first baseman of the future and long-time first baseman for the Yankees, Luke Voit. I'm shocked you even put him on there.
But Tyler, you've been hearing the buzz. I mean,
everyone wants Luke Voit, of course.
There's a lot of conversation about them actually, not even just people wanting him. Sure, who wouldn't want a good player that belted home runs like it was their job? I mean, it was, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that is his job.
But there's a lot of talk about Luke Voit taking a hike to another team so the Yankees can acquire those pieces that they desperately need. Like, I'm sorry to say it, the Yankees have Luke Voits. And I mean that in the most respectful way.
Oh, yeah.
The Yankees have the players who can do that. I mean, have they done it? Did they show that this season? No. Can they get there?
They're all young, though.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. In all honesty, the Yankees have Luke Voit. Like, he's a decent first baseman. He belts the ball like it's nobody's business. If we didn't have Giancarlo Stanton, I'd say that's our DH 100% of the way. However, you're running into a situation that I guess we'll talk about once we get to another name on this list, but we'll get there.
I don't know, man. I if I'm looking at this list that you gave me here of Sanchez, Torres, Voit, and Andujar, I think there's 2 that will be gone next season and 2 that will still be with the Yankees. And I'd say Sanchez and Andujar were not going to be with the Yankees next season, but Torres and Voit will definitely still stick around. And if Sanchez is still with the Yankees next season, it's as the secondary catcher.
Yeah, I mean
Kyle Higashioka.
I know that'll happen. I mean he is approaching another arbitration year, which he's going to have to make more than he made last year. That's just how arbitration works. So we'll see what they go with that. You ask half the Yankee fans, they'll say, oh, maybe this and that, and you ask the other half, and they say you should have traded him a year ago, right?
Yeah,
but those are the same fans that say you should have fired Boone a year ago. So who knows what's going on with that, right? I just think the thing with Sanchez is, he didn't get over 200 in his average this season. Sure, it was a 60-game season. Sure, it was this. Sure, it was that. He wasn't the only catcher playing. There were plenty of catchers who outperformed him that aren't as praised. So I just can't defend him anymore. Like, it's just not happening. Nor honestly have I. So
no, I agree, man. I absolutely agree. But the next you mentioned him just now, and the name of Aaron Boone, probably the most talked about person in New York right now. Is he coming back as Yankees manager? And if not, Noah, who could take his spot? Before he was even manager, I thought Gardenhire was going to be your manager. So I was shocked to see Aaron Boone come in there. And Aaron Boone, and I stick by this, and I've been saying it for the last 3 years, Aaron Boone was only chosen as the Yankees manager because the Red Sox signed Alex Cora as their manager. That is the only reason, so that they could match old Red Sox player from the 2004 era with old Yankees player from the 2003 era, because they both had their moments in those respective seasons. I just don't see a solid good reason as to why they should get rid of him. He is, in my opinion, top 3 managers in the league.
And I can't say Brian Cashman, along with Hal Steinbrenner, did already say that Boone's not going anywhere.
He's inexperienced in big decisions, sure, Noah. But I know that's what you wanted to talk about, coming in here is some of his inexperience.
Yes. Now, however, I do have an answer though. If the Yankees were to move on from Aaron Boone, who should they go to, or who would they go to? There were a few things tossed around, a couple younger people who are bench coaches or base coaches right now, maybe hitting coach or something like that from a bunch of different teams around the majors. But the one name that I saw that I said, you know what, I've seen a few of his games that he's called as an announcer, or sorry to say, as a commentator. I'm impressed with his knowledge of baseball to the next level. And he's a guy who has had much experience as a manager in the past. And I think he could take this young team and make them into something amazing, similar to what the next person we're going to talk about here, Dusty Baker, is doing with this Astros team.
Who am I missing? I'm raking my brain and I can't think of who you're about to say.
Buck Showalter.
Oh, can we move on? No way. I already hate the Yankees. If you guys sign Buck Showalter as your head coach and manager, I will never, ever give you guys any credit. He is my least favorite manager in all of baseball. He's the most arrogant, cocky SOB in baseball history. And he has nothing to base it off of. No championships to that man's reign. Oh God, Noah, get out of here with that.
I'll say this.
Throw it away.
No, not even close. I'm going to have another controversial opinion later on in this. However, the man, he's a veteran. He has a great mind for the game, and I honestly think he would do a great job with this team. Is that going to happen? Absolutely not. However, that is the only thing that I saw that I was like, you know what? I kind of like that. Even though I should, I do.
Dude, that is so left field. I like Buck Showalter doesn't belong on a major league field ever again.
I'll say this: if you think that,
I can't stand that face. That is one of the faces of baseball. His team could be so utterly wrong in a argument, but he's still gonna fight it, and it's not good management. I don't care what you say. It just makes you guys cocky and arrogant, and it's not good management. If it's a close call and you're wrong, sure, this ball could be in the first row behind the catcher's plate, and the guy's like, that was a strike, and Buck's like, yeah, that was, my guy says it's a strike, it's a strike. I hate that. Oh, you got me fired up now. I can't stand Buck Showalter.
I'm going to say this. You think that was bad? Wait till you hear my opinion later on about another person that a lot of people.
Yeah, let's talk about what you had here. You said Fanside, it's Adam Weinrib.
Yes, Weinrib
had a great article titled "Yankees Dusty Baker's Big Move Should Teach Aaron Boone a Lesson." You want to take me through that?
Yes, absolutely. So in Game 4 of the ALCS, Dusty Baker would go make his way to the mound in the 6th to console his starter Zach Greinke, who was in a 2-run jam. Who was in a 2-on jam with 1 out. The bases would then become loaded in a do-or-die game with Randy Arozarena coming to the plate. He would cause him to fly out, and then Choi would hit a single to load the bases. Greinke would then put away Michael Brousseau on a beautiful 3-2 changeup. So the manager decided to leave his starter in and showing trust in his guy. That's one thing that we talk about a lot with the Yankees. There was a controversial decision in Game 2, which we'll get to. There's a quote here that I really liked from this article, and it said, 1 round after Boone and the Yankees snuffed out their own momentum by playing with their starters in Game 2, which was that Davey Garcia, J.A. Happ debacle that a lot of people criticized of the ALDS. Baker staved off elimination by rolling the dice and letting his guy know he never lost faith. And that is a quote from the writer Adam Weinrib there, who wrote this fantastic article. After the game, Baker was quoted as saying this, Dusty Baker, on his decision to ride with Zach Greinke in the 6th. He said, "I can't lie to you. There were some prayers involved on the way back to the dugout." Which honestly is just hilarious. Like, that's classic Dusty Baker, right?
He's been so much fun to listen to this postseason. As much as I've hated them, he's been fun to listen to.
Absolutely. And honestly, this just shows a veteran of the game. Like, there's nobody can teach you that. No general manager is going to call and say, "Hey, what do you think about this gut feeling?" That is an in-game decision as a experienced manager that you literally cannot put a price tag on. And honestly, would you have seen this in any other team? Probably not. In this type of elimination situation, we have seen this in the Yankees. Absolutely.
Look what happened just last night with the Rays. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second, but I was like, I'm like screaming at my TV. Why are you taking him out?
Absolutely.
that,
Um,
yeah, go ahead, carry on.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I've said this before, even leading into the playoffs, we were a week left in the season, and there was a lot of unknowns and mistrust on who's going to catch. A lot of unknowns and mistrust on who's going to be the third person in the lineup, who the second person in the lineup, if Tanaka needs an extra day of rest. Just players seeing that you believe in them as a manager, as a coach, whatever, is huge. Davy Garcia was pulled in that game too after giving up a solo home run. And Happ, even after the game, said himself that he was not on board with the plan that they laid out for him, saying, hey, we're going to put in Davy for the first inning, and then you're going to pitch in the second. He was not comfortable. He literally said, I was not comfortable with this plan. And they still went forward with it. That's
kind of shameful.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be saying that, though.
Oh no, but Tyler, I agree with that. Sure, like you shouldn't go to the press and be like, "Oh, I didn't feel comfortable with this decision."
My coach is a dum-dum.
But in all honesty, the decision was terrible. Like, are they going to stand there and is Hap supposed to take the berating that he's now going to get? He's like, "Oh, I was like, sure, I can do it," and then he failed because no, he shouldn't have been in that position regardless. Even CC Sabathia himself, who works for the Yankees as an advisor, said that decision was terrible. You should have rode with Garcia in Game 2 and then rode Hap in Game 4. Like, there's no other way.
I guess this is an evolution of baseball commentary, because I hate that when players come out and be like the coach in the NFL, Bruce Arians, about Tom Brady. He was like, yeah, Tom Brady sucked today. I'm like, what? You can just come out and say this about your own players and coaches? This is allowed now? I personally hate that. And, I'm not really a big protector of etiquette of the game. But no, you don't. Behind the scenes stuff, that's us, and that's only us, unless you're cheating like the Astros. We need to know about that.
There you go.
But yeah, what was this other one you were talking about here? I have another photo you sent me.
Yeah, this other photo here was, this is Greinke's reaction. Yeah, Zach Greinke, in the sixth, after the game, he was interviewed, and he said, "It's nice having someone have confidence in me. Since I've been here, they haven't seemed to have confidence in my ability. It was nice having that happen at an important time like that." And that is, I mean, both these images were from this article on Fansided. I would check it out. I would give it a read. It's a great read, like I said. And it's just one of the things that I wanted to talk about that I feel like is a missing point in the Yankees. I wouldn't even say their overall front office, but just in that decision role mid-game. Like, they can make a good game plan. You can make a good, this is what we want to do once we get to the 5th or the 6th. We're going to turn to Britain. We're going to turn to this guy. We're chatting into the 9th. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
These in-game gut decisions are things that get you further into the postseason. I mean, you can't put a price tag on Dusty Baker's ability to be like, let's make everyone feel warm. Let's make everyone feel like we trust them, which is good. And the players go out there and they perform well. Yeah. And that's just what I know. It's a segment that I wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you can get some tips here, Mr. Aaron Boone, as to how to treat your players. You don't treat them as pieces, you treat them as people, then you're probably going to have a better job done in the postseason. And maybe one of these times you'll maybe make the World Series.
Well, let's not get crazy.
But there was a fun photo I saw online, Mr. Cross. It is this one here. These two lovely human beings with their beautiful wives enjoying sushi together. We have Garrett Cole with Tanaka, I believe we have together, and they're out to dinner with their beautiful wives having a sushi date. In lighter news, the Yankees aren't in the postseason anymore, so they can go eat food.
Yes, they can eat food. They can enjoy their times.
They can go outside of the bubble.
That photo just made me happy, and I wanted to use that to end this Yankee segment. It's good to see that they're chilling, because in all honesty, if Tanaka, I don't know, but if there was one person who could be like, you know what, I tried, and that's Garrett Cole. You can't be mad at him.
Hey, listen, if Tanaka invited me to sushi, I'm going to have sushi with Tanaka. So
we don't even like sushi.
I hate sushi, but I'm going.
We're having sushi.
I'm gonna choke it down. But with that, Noah, let's move into the postseason. We are talking Dodgers. We are talking Braves to start it off right off the bat. I will get us going here. I'm just going to read through the stats of games 1 through 6, and then we will convene at the end, Mr. Cross. Mm-hmm. So on game 1, we had a 1-5 Braves victory. The Braves offense did their job, punching across 4 in the top of the 9th. It was at one point tied at 9 up until the end of that game. Max Fried would lock it down as the starter for the Braves, pitching 6 innings of 1-run ball and striking out 9. Trenian of the Dodgers could not get the job done, allowing 3 runs to cross in the 9th and only recording 1 out in his appearance. In game 2, it was an 8-7 victory for the Braves. This was 100% all about the offense. No pitching present. Pitchers took a nap.
Mhm.
Ian Anderson, who started the game for the Braves, would give up, and who was also starting tonight, by the way,
Yes.
would give up 5 runs through 4 innings, but his offense would pick him up. Freeman would drive in 3, Albies would drive in 2, Ozuna, Swanson, and Markakis would each drive in 1. Tony Gonzalez, who started for the Dodgers, would also give up 5 runs in 4 innings of work. Dodgers offense, led by Corey Seager, who would drive in 4, just couldn't get quite enough to come back and win this one. Then game 3 happened. We had a 15-3 Dodgers win. That was brutal. The Dodgers would jump all over the Braves, who would implode in the very first inning. And there's really, you know what, as much as you put notes here for this one, Noah, there's not much left to talk about because nothing else happened in this game besides some chippy, tit for tat home runs. The Dodgers put one up, the Braves put one up. The Dodgers put 2 up, the Braves put 2 up. So it was 15-3 final score. The Braves would only muster 3 runs in the slaughter, which came from the bottom of their lineup. The front of the lineup was like, listen, we're up 2. We don't need to score today. Let's just chill for a day. Who wants to go up 3-0? That's not fun, right? Game 4 happened, and they said, anything you can do, we can do better. 10-2. The Braves had an incredible comeback, or comeback from the day before. The Braves would return the favor and slaughter the Dodgers in game 4. Freeman and Ozuna would go in again and drive in 5 combined runs. The bottom half of the Braves lineup would then drive in 4. Bryce Wilson would start for the Braves and keep his team in it, only allowing 1 earned run through 6, and Kershaw would allow 4 runs through 5 innings, only striking out 4. The Dodgers bullpen would give up 4 runs, and that was how that one ended. In game 5, it was 7-3 for the Dodgers. Dustin May would open for LA, pitching 2 innings of 1-run ball. 6 pitchers would see action for the Dodgers and only allow 1 run. This reminded me of that combined no-hitter by the Mariners a few years back, where they just had so many people coming into that game and they had somehow incredible success. Betts, Seager, and Smith would drive in a combined 7 runs, helping their team take the game 4 win. And in game 6, it's 1-3 in favor of the Dodgers. Walker Buehler is the only person that I really need to mention here. What a shutdown performance. The bullpen would pick up after him and only allow 1 run through the last 3 innings. Not much offense from either team, but the Dodgers did not need it with their pitching staff. Acuna would be the only one to drive in runs for the Braves. We are tied at 3-3, Noah, and we have game 7 approaching very quickly. It is going to be an interesting game tonight. Game 7 live at 8:15 p.m. on Fox or FS1. Noah, did you expect this? What an incredibly fun series.
Absolutely. I mean, you could not see this coming from a mile away, that the Braves and Dodgers would fight this hard, or at least the Braves would bring this fight to the Dodgers. A lot of people would consider the Dodgers to be a juggernaut of a team. But the reality is they're really not holding it together as much as people thought they could. Their offense is solid. They have an amazing field. They have Walker Buehler, who I would say is probably going to be one of the greatest pitchers that is going to be in the game in a couple of years. Clayton Kershaw is being Clayton Kershaw in the postseason. No real shock there, but they really are just kind of, I honestly would say they're falling apart a bit as a team. They're not holding it together and doing what we know they're capable of.
Yeah. The Dodgers did not show up for this series, even though it is tied 3-3, and they had that incredible game 3. These are not the Dodgers that we are used to. I think they are in trouble tonight. I definitely still am sticking with my pick, but I just, man, that it's brutal. And by that, I mean, I'm going to have perfect predictions through the championship series, Mr. Cross, with both games going 7. I'm going to mention it again later, so just remember that. We're going to talk about my perfect predictions one more time. This was fun, and you had it going 5. You said Dodgers in 5.
I thought for sure. Yeah, I thought for sure the Dodgers would get the job done sooner. I mean, they're the Dodgers. Their record this year was ridiculous compared to everyone else in their division. Granted, the division's garbage, but
right. When you're talking in comparison to the AL, it is not as contested at the top. Although I say that, but everyone except the Dodgers were on a pretty even playing field this season. It was a lot closer than the American League races were, except for the American League West. That was the only, or set. What are they, Central or West? I forget where the Astros are. I think they're the West.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was oh my gosh, that was a close division. But anything else, not a chance. Can they stand up to the American League? And that's what I think is going to happen in the World Series too. But we'll get to that in a moment. Because hopefully I can have a perfect record on the season with my prediction for a World Series champion. Any takeaways from this, Mr. Cross?
The Braves are fighters. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They got knocked around a lot in what was that, game 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Game 3, and they came right back in game 4 and were like, absolutely not. And then they won again, I'm sorry, we're going to see if they could win again, obviously, in game 7. So they had a strong start. They fell apart a little bit towards the middle. The Dodgers started to gain momentum, but it's good to see this fun series, and I'm excited for game 7 tonight.
And Courtney, one of our listeners, brings up a great point that says Tampa Bay took it to Houston, and the Astros are indeed at home. Tampa Bay versus the Houston Astros went 7 games, Noah, like I predicted. And it was an exciting race. Do you want to bring us through how this series played out?
Absolutely. Game 1 would be the tightest game of this series here, where the Rays would pull out a 2-1 victory. It was a pitcher's duel in game 1 as the Rays' Blake Snell would go 5 innings of 1-run ball. His bullpen would follow up by locking down the Astros lineup right after him. Framber Valdez would go 6 innings of 2-run ball for the Astros, and that's all the Rays would need to win. As Randy Arozarena, we're going to do a hit counter here. That was one hit for Randy Arozarena, the rookie here, in game number 1, and you're going to hear his name as we go through this segment.
I wish I had a graphic ready for that.
Game number 2, the Rays would take it 2-4 as Charlie Morton would pick up where he left off in his last start, and he would pitch 5 scoreless innings. Manuel Margot would hit a big 3-run blast in the first inning to give the team a lot of momentum in the likes of the Rays, and the Astros lineups could simply not get it done against Morton. And Randy Arozarena would earn 2 more hits in this game here, bringing his hit total to 3. In game number 3, the Rays would again take the victory 5-2. The Rays' Ryan Yarborough would start in game 3 as Glasnow started game 5 of the division series, and he was not available to start in that 3-hole, which obviously was a big hit. That was the game I thought the Rays would maybe lose because they didn't have their horse and the likes of Tyler Glasnow, but it didn't matter as Yarborough would pitch 5 innings of 2-run ball, doing as Tyler Noah would consider keeping your team in the game.
And let me just say, when this win happened, oh boy, I was doing my happy dance because I thought that we had seen the end of the Astros.
Yes, absolutely. The Rays' overpowering bullpen, led by who I would say is going to be one of those greatest bullpen arms of our time, Tyler, and like to Diego Castillo.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Dude, amazing. Would shut down the Astros to close out this game. The Rays would have a huge 6 where they pushed across all 5 of their runs in that 6th inning there, and that's what helped them get the lead. And Randy Arozarena's serious hits counter is up to 6 hits now in just the first 3 games, which is very, very big, especially in a lineup that made the playoffs. I mean, the pitchers are good. They're there for a reason. Game number 4, we would all think that it was it. We would think that the Rays would take it here. They had a big lead. However, the Astros would avoid elimination with a tight 3-4 game. With a 3-game series lead, it looked like it was all over for the Astros, but they began their comeback in game 4. This was a close one. Altuve would jump over a high fastball in the first inning, as he likes to do, and the Astros would gain momentum from that and get a must win. In all honesty,
it was over right there.
No, I will say they were on from the beginning, the Astros. They were ready to win. And to be fair, the Rays, not like I was surprised to see them get to Glasnow a bit. I think that rattled them. So, they did their job. They got that big win. It was a must win, and they won it. And Randy Arozarena's hit counter was now at 7 hits in just 4 games here. Game number 5, we would see the Astros again avoid what I would say honestly was inevitable was elimination for them with the deficit that they were trying to come back from. With a 3-4 victory, the Astros would evade the inevitable in another game. Springer, Brantley, and Correa would drive in runs in another must-win. The Astros would use Luis Garcia as an opener in their bullpen game, where they would use 7 arms in total, which honestly is a lot, especially because they were playing 7 games straight. Every bullpen, every time you have to go to the bullpen, it matters in a series where you have possible 7 games straight, which is what they had to do. The Astros would walk it off in the 9th in Game 5 with a pimp job, as I'd like to call it, off the bat of the beast, Carlos Correa. And this is where I said, Tyler, it's going to get a little get a little controversial here. I, for one, I have to say, I'm sorry. Carlos Correa is a monster.
Yeah, you're
Carlos
right.
Correa is, come on. He is damn good. And listen, I'm sorry. As I said, I'm a Yankees fan. I should not even give the Astros a little bit of credit. If I'm going to give anybody on that organization credit, it's going to be that man, Carlos Correa. If you ask me, he's a monster. That pimp job phrase, I'll give 100% credit to John Boy there. He had an amazing video of it. And he even himself said, you got to be impressed with that guy. He said, you got to love Dusty Baker, which obviously we do. And you got to be impressed with Carlos Correa, which at least I am. And I will give him credit. He is an all-around.
What he does is impressive. I just think he's a jackwagon, and I just really don't care to watch him play.
No, absolutely. I hear you. And as John Boy will say it, if you're going to cut WWE-style promos in interviews like Correa does and just trash people and that kind of thing.
Stop it. Don't give it reason. I don't want to like him.
Hold on. You have to back it up. And I'm sorry. With that type of pimp job of a home run, that's backing it up. You keep talking, Correa. You keep talking. Randy Rosarena's hit counter would be at 8 now in 7 games. I'm sorry, in 5 games. Game 6 would see the Astros again evade the inevitable here. This team just wouldn't die. 7-4 Astros. The Astros would again avoid elimination in their 3rd must-win game. The Astros 1-5 would drive in 5 runs. Kyle Tucker would drive in 2 from the 6th hole himself. Oh, absolutely, he did. Framber Valdez would again pitch a strong 6th inning, giving his team in the game of 1-run ball, which the Astros desperately needed after exhausting their bullpen the day before. This game, Randy Rosarena's hits would be now at 8 in just 6 games, and his average would be around the 381 mark, which in the postseason is absolutely insane, to be honest. Game 7, Tyler, we had a Game 7. Baseball rumbled. We were excited. I don't care what team you like. You'll always like to see this elimination style game at the end of a really hard fought series. What a Game 7, to be honest, as the Rays would best the Astros 4-2. The Rays would give the ball to Charlie freaking Morton, and the Astros would give the ball to Lance McCullers. Rosarena would hit a huge 2-run jack in the 1st inning, and Zunino would hit a 2-run bomb. A single solo bomb in the 2nd. The Astros would threaten in both the 7th and 8th, but would only get 1 big hit in the 8th off of the bat of, as I would say, the beast himself, Carlos Correa, with a huge RBI single. Charlie frickin' Morton is a horse, to say the least. He pitched 5 strong innings of no-run ball, and that would propel the Rays into a big 3-run advantage in this do-or-die game. But McCullers would have a rough 1st inning and be met with a hug from manager Dusty Baker, as we talked about before, Baker, and his wisdom to be able to say, listen, we got this, take it easy. Baker has always been described as a trusting manager, and this would actually help calm down the nerves of McCullers, helping him fight through another 2 innings, which honestly the Astros needed, because like I said, they exhausted their bullpen a couple days before. They didn't have a lot of arms to go to. They really didn't.
Yeah.
The Rays would turn to their bullpen, who had a shaky 8th inning, but would ultimately overcome the Astros and hold on to their lead. The Rays would hold on to their lead and win their 2nd AL pennant on their quest for their franchise's 1st World Series championship. Tyler,
the time is now. It is happening. The prophet has spoken. The day 1 of the season prediction from T. Bard has come true. The Rays are in the World Series. And you know what, Noah? I went back and listened to episode 1. We never picked our National League winner.
Really?
I thought we had both picked made picks. We both just said who we thought was going to win. And in episode 2, we alluded to teams who we thought could be there. You said Dodgers and Braves. I said Dodgers and Padres. So I'm not 100% wrong anymore. I was like, I'm looking for it. I was trying to make a graphic for us. So I'm like just skipping through episode 1 and I'm like, where did we say who our National League team were? But neither of us took a National League team. That's why I couldn't find it.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
To be fair, so I'll give you your credit. Obviously, very impressive with the Rays because I don't think anybody would have said the Rays
no,
were
not a
going to
single person
make
had
it
the
to the
Rays at
World
the
Series
beginning of
this
the
year.
season.
However, I did choose the Braves and the Dodgers here.
You
and they're
did.
both in the pennant race here, right? All right.
Yeah, no, you did very good in episode 2, though. You know,
Yes.
You had time to think about it. So, you know, we can take a little bit of credit away. I'll give you like 80% credit.
Folks, what I'm trying to say is we know what we're talking about.
We have been to many a baseball game. I can't even count on 10 hands how many baseball games I've probably been to. It has been a big part of mine and Noah's life, and I hope you all can see that through our banter and our love for the sport. If you watch enough baseball, you can feel moments when they are about to happen. When I take my phone out at a game, it's because I know something incredible is about to happen. So I want to record it so I can watch it over and over again. And I am lucky enough to have quite a few of those moments saved on my phone. Noah and I have been doing this for a bit, watching games together and predicting stuff. And we can both attest to each other at how accurate we can be at times. So this is by far my best prediction I've ever had. Having the Rays moving on to the World Series.
And you did make this early too. Like it wasn't like you waited until the last month of the season. Yeah. After game 1, you said this is what's going to happen. So yeah.
And you had the Yankees, which though it was an easier pick, they still had a lot of teams that they had to get through, and they made it pretty far. They made it to the ALDS and got knocked out in the same spot they do every time.
They didn't make it far.
So they made it further than more than 50% of the rest of the league. So they did better than average. So that's better than my Red Sox can say. I'm trying to give you some credit here, Mr. Frost. But it is time to make a World Series preview, World Series prediction, that is. And I'm just going to put it this way. I'm taking the Rays.
Yeah.
No matter who they face, I am taking the Rays. Their offense is too stifling against any of these, either of these two teams' pitching staffs. Clayton Kershaw is a bum in the postseason, but I would still love him to come to the Red Sox in the regular season. I'm sorry, Clayton. That's just how it is for you. Your back spasms you had going into game 2 are a load of malarkey. And that's why I said back spasms, because I think it's a load of BS that was even the case. But it is what it is. There is no way that I'm picking the Braves. If anything, I would pick the Dodgers. But I am not taking the Braves over the Rays. Easy pick. We're going to go 5. Rays win the World Series in 5 games.
Okay. If you did have to say who would win Game 7 tonight, who do you think is going to take that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm picking the Dodgers.
Okay.
I'm picking the Dodgers to win tonight.
Fair. I would agree. I also picked the Dodgers to win tonight. If the Braves win, I'll be excited. However, I think the best matchup is Dodgers Rays. To be honest, even though the Braves have outperformed what anyone thought they could do. So I feel like either series would be good. But I'm still going to pick the Dodgers. When it comes to the World Series champion, I am going to have to say that the Tampa Bay Rays will win their first World Series championship in 2020. Listen,
welcome aboard.
There's just no way that I honestly see the Dodgers or the Braves being able to best the Rays. The Braves have a overpowering 1, 2, and 3 in their pitching rotation when the likes of Blake Snell, Charlie Morton, and Tyler Glasnow. And then they turn to their bullpen, and they have multiple arms that they can trust. And you toss Randy Arozarena in that mix. You toss G-Man Choi in that mix. Listen, dude, I'm sorry. Their defense is solid. Adames at short, Choi at first. Their offense is solid. They're hitting like it's nobody's business. This team is on. We said at the beginning of the season, it really doesn't matter who's going to be able to outlast other teams. All that matters is who's hot and when, and they are hot right now, and they're going to win the World Series.
I am glad you agree with me. I know you have a bit of a soft spot for the Dodgers, so I was surprised. I'll say that. But you are historically a heart picker. You always pick with your heart. So I was shocked. I'm shocked to hear this.
I will and I will say this: I am still picking with my heart for one reason. I love seeing teams win their first championship.
Oh, sure.
And I mean, it's something that every team wants to do. Wait, what teams are still yet to have won a World Series? Hold on.
It's them, the Mariners, the Padres.
Pretty sure the Brewers are on that list.
Yep, the Brewers. One more. I think there's only 5.
Rays, Rockies, Mariners,
Rangers.
I
forget the Rockies. Oh, the Rangers. And I always count them out because they should have
right
won
there twice. Oh, that was the worst. We were in high school then, and I was pulling so hard for the Range. I was so disappointed. I'm still disappointed about those games. Anyway, you love seeing it. I really want to see the Rays win their first championship. I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I am excited. And look at this. For once, we're on the same page.
Yes.
This is nice.
One thing, I know we didn't put it here, but MLB did announce the start times for every World Series game 1 through 7. And there are going to be breaks. So it's going to be a normal series in the likes of 2 games, break day, 3 games, and then a break day, and then 2 games. So, honestly, thank God.
All right. So let's make a call then right now, Noah. If this World Series goes past Sunday, do we want to postpone this episode, the World Series episode, until the World Series is over?
Yeah, because let's put it this way. Right now, it would have to end in 5, yeah. And a possible game 7, wouldn't be until Wednesday.
All right. So at the very earliest, okay. So when would game 5 be? Monday?
Sunday.
Oh, geez. Okay. So yeah, at the very earliest we would have on Sunday because of game 4. But at the very latest, you will get your next episode of Baseball with the Bard on Thursday night next week. We will go the day after. We're not going to go right after because both of us have early jobs, and I'll be working 5 a.m. shifts coming up here pretty soon. So it's going to be a long week for Tyler and Noah, but we will get back to our normal schedule pretty soon when Noah's fall program ends, and we will be doing a more broken up schedule coming in the winter to spring until baseball comes back to us in 2021. We will cover all of this on next week's episode of Baseball with the Bard. But I would like to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by Clovercrest Media. So bear with me for one moment. If you do love podcasts, please visit clovercrestmedia.com for a wide selection of great shows covering sports, business, relationships, pop culture, politics, and true crime. There are 26 shows on the CMG network, and if you don't find one you like, start your own. We can help you launch your own podcast for as little as $15 per month. Clovercrestmedia.com is the site, and make sure you check it out and tell your friends about it. You can visit clovercrestmedia.com and click on the link for the latest on your favorite CMG podcasts, as well as blogs, videos, and the latest info. Thank you, everybody, for coming here for episode 14 of Baseball with the Bard. My name is Tyler Bard. That there is my best friend, Noah Cross. Thank you for watching.
It's time for Baseball with the Bard.